Excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe
Ultra
content.
Deluxe. What would it be? Oh wow. Very good looking elevator, first of all.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Hello? Move?
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Oh. New content. Now this is what I don't know.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if...
Mostly tedious.
Oh, okay. Let's see the content.
Let's
Give
see
me
the
the content, Stanley.
Alright. Are you ready, narrator? Oh. Oh. New content!
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Woo! I love it! Okay. Oh!
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else.
This is so new.
Right?
The ropes are here. The jump rope. Okay, let's continue on. More new content, please. No. Hey.
Goodness. Another elevator.
Another
Stanley,
elevator.
I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good.
Oh.
Yes. I knew there had to be something else.
Okay.
Let's see it. I'm ready
Oh,
for
what
whatever
is
it
this?
is.
Hello. Hello. Thank you for enjoying the new content.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally.
There's no Twitter now.
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about.
Oh no, no
frills,
Twitter.
no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Oh, a forced restart. Oh, whoa. Hey, this is totally new. Now I feel like I'm playing a new game.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something. Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise?
Okay.
Well, fine.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so
All right. I'm sorry.
Oh, never mind. You're not a dog.
Oh my, it's so cool how the narrator prepared like every voice line for like every situation. Oh, coffee nut. Oh.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be.
What's
I
this?
made something special and tucked it away here
Whoa.
where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Whoa!
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Oh my god. Zone, sweet zone.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release?
Look at this.
Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Wow. Good times. Oh, this is so cool. Our first kiss, my first car, the release of Stanley Parable in 2013. Oh my god, look at this. Firefox, Mozilla. Buy on Steam. A trip down memory lane. Oh, $1. Stanley Parable demonstration demo. Go outside. Don't play for 5 years? Unachievable. It's impossible to get this achievement. You know, this house looks amazing. Nominee. Wow.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
This is so funny. Memory zone maintenance. Person of the year. Hey, this is the other ending. Oh wow, look at this.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
The serious room. Hey, how do I go over here?
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here.
Ew, Steam
Surely these
reviews.
were glowing as well, weren't they?
Not recommended. Oh, this is so
Honestly, I
funny.
could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
This is amazing. It's like fourth wall broken like several times. It's like watching the Deadpool movie, you know? Steam reviews. Alright. Oh, even more Steam reviews.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me.
Maybe these are real
Well,
reviews.
to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Oh. Oh.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games.
Oh,
Of
this is
course,
amazing.
I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description. Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even
Let's
know if
try
they
not
can
to
change
skip
their
it.
review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works. Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be
Wow,
okay
it
with
just
Steam
keeps on going.
altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial. Something along the lines of, this game is the best game. Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality.
Oh, now we skip?
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here?
Oh,
Where did the door go?
hey.
Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here. Stanley! Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there.
12
I don't know why the
hours?
skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time.
Oh no.
Just sitting here, not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley.
I'm about
it
to
isn't
press
the
it.
same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my word... Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome.
Oh, the plant.
I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. I never sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year. Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can...
Hello? Narrator? Narrator? Oh no, the clock. Fire alarm.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no
Narrator?
The end is never the end, is never the end.
Oh, he's going crazy.
Is never the end, 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 is never the...
Hello? Oh! This is totally new. Oh my god. Hey. Can we get out? This is so funny. Oh. Hey, where's the plants? The narrator's dead? And like we're alone now? Oh, the button! Oh, hey! Hey, what happened? Whoa! Can I press it? I can't. This is totally new. Where am I? Narrator! We are immortal, by the way. We're back.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Huh? Oh, new content.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
New content. Here we go. Alright, give me something really cool. I'm ready.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time
music.
ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Wow.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Wow.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the
Ultra
Stanley
Deluxe.
Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Whoa. Logo ideas. I guess they really thought about this.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Sequels are good. Portal to Half-Life 2, Batman Arkham Asylum 2, City, Divinity, Original Sin 2, Doom 2, Dark Souls 2, 2. Oh, this is just so funny. Oh. New features. Wait, can I go in here? Expo Hall.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Whoa. Exclusive. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Okay, let's go click
For the
the
Stanley Parable 2,
exclusive
I asked
button.
myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful? Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as
I'm Jim,
to
guys,
really
now.
simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
I am Jim.
I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim.
I am
Sleeping
Jim.
and waking as Jim. Falling in love and... Jim! Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this
Okay,
button.
okay.
Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim.
Jim.
Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim, playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim, staying up all night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as Jim, developing a crippling substance addiction as Jim, rediscovering yourself through fringe religious groups as Jim, and finally dying a slow death at an old age, surrounded by members of your cult. As
I am Jim.
Do you feel it in your soul? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
I'm Jim.
If
Yes.
so, then please step forward and press the button.
I've been living my whole life as Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again, do it again.
Okay. I am Jim.
It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button.
Okay.
I'm too emotionally drained from all
yeah.
of this personal validation.
Oh my God. One more time.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim.
Too much
I'm putting the
Jim.
Jim button away.
Hey.
Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
No! Jim! Jim button. Okay, Jim button's gone. Next. Let's go. Jim. Oh, I had a little flashlight of a life as Jim.
I
Oh.
suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Please, no screenshots. Okay, what's the next one? Oh my God, this place is massive. This place is really massive. I saw this like little room here. What's this? Epilogue?
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Oh, that's spinning. Oh my, free achievement. Free new easy achievement. It just works. I can't believe it's that simple. Huh.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Okay, well, going back. Okay, the bucket. It's around here. somewhere here? Or maybe not here? Go back? Okay. Let's get the bucket and play the real Stanley Parable 2. Bucket.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Jump circle. Collectibles. Oh.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Oh, are we going closer to it? Wow, everybody wants it. The Stanley Parable collectible. Wow. 1 out of 6. Collect them all.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along.
What?
Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
I love the comedy of this game. Merch.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Oh, here we go. Reassurance bucket. Found it. Oh. This is it.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Okay.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact,
That
can I
scared
say
me.
that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Oh, I'm more attractive now?
The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh my. I'm a bit more attractive with the bucket.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Infinite hole. We haven't tried this one yet. Huh? Okay, infinite hole.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Okay. Woo!
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue on.
Press G to return to the surface. Wait, but do you think there's like a secret?
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
I feel like there's gonna be something.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite?
Mostly
If that works for
infinite.
you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
What if we just stay here? Do we get like a janitor room, you know, broom room thing? Keep jumping into the hole? Okay.
Great. Now, I'm very... Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had
Okay.
enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow.
Hey,
Okay. Yes.
very shorter.
I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite.
Listen.
I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley,
I love
have
this
no
game.
explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try
Yeah,
something.
let's try something.
Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Okay.
Well, there it is.
Oh.
The shame of my lie has come to haunt. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch.
Yay.
Who am I
Holes.
to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
It's not working.
The, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can
Oh,
do
no.
to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley.
No.
You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley.
No.
I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of it.
Oh shit. I'm stuck. Teleport not working. Oh. Sinister sound. Let me out. Oh. We're going down. With mysterious music. What? Oh! Mind blown. Mind blown. Ah! Whoa! Whoa! Ah! Age change of reality? Whoa! Whoa! What?
My head's stronger. Now you're no.
Jane, change yourself. Huh? What? What? I think we were high.
Stanley! Oh good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into...
Oh, this is
We
amazing.
can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
Hey. Get me out. Oh. Oh, we're out. So,
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
we saw the hole, infinite hole. I guess now we go out. Exit. Exit that way. So I tried this epilogue. I don't think there's an epilogue. Office decoration bucket. Setting world champion. You are here. Where's the world champion? Is it this one?
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle?
Yeah.
Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Oh, no. Well. Oh, no. Jump circle. The setting the world champion is over here. Oh, this one. Anyways, let's get out. I want to see what we can do with this bucket. Exit over there. Wait a minute, that's new? Wait, what's new? What's this? Oh, this is the setting world champion, but it's closed. That's new. Oh wait. Oh, we were here before. Okay, let's get out. We have seen everything. So what can I do with this new bucket? Oh, what's this way?
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Is this the exit? It is. Oh. Okay, let's get out. Yes, narrator. I've got the bucket. I'm ready to go. Oh.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do it.
Oh, hey, there's a collectible.
Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley?
Infinite holes here.
This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy
the
creating
bucket.
gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up.
Ooh.
All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oh. Whoa. The Stanley Parable 2.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Oh my god.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple.
Alright, skip. Oh. Okay. So it's different. We have
All of
the...
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
We have the balloons.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Yeah, I lost my bucket. Oh, there's the bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Oh, input received 2. Okay. What can we do with the bucket?
Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his environment. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Oh my god, this is so new. I like it. So we can play the whole game again?
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Oh! My room!
Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it.
Now we have a reason
It's
to
a
stay in
bucket.
here.
It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I'd never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Okay. Where do I put down the bucket?
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go.
Oh!
There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Property of Stanley. Come on, give me the broom.
All right, I've got a
Closet room
second
ending.
sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself,
it's a bucket.
"Ah, it's a bucket." There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Now that can be a merch. Ooh, we got 2 stickers.
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Come on, give me the last dialogue. I want to see everything. My bucket. Mr. Narrator. Are we actually done? Okay, I'm gonna get out now. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nothing happens. Well, we got a sticker on our bucket.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh, hey, look. Now there's a collectible.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these.
We got 2.
Only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You
Job
can't
well
buy
done.
that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Beautiful. All right. What about this room? Oh, it doesn't open.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human
Oh,
life.
this feels cool, like a
Crushed
new
by
game.
the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
What?
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical
bucket guiding him.
explanation.
Oh,
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Stanley. Hey, do you think we can get that weird ending? Going back and up?
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Okay, now, if we do this, do you think we're gonna get a new
Wait,
ending?
Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up?
Yes.
When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
Bucket said nothing. No.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over. Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life.
Yay!
Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
We might get a new ending here.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
Hold on.
A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should he demonstrate the number 3 for the bucket again?
Okay. Maybe we're gonna get it.
No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
And the bucket said nothing. Okay. I'm interested. This is gonna be a new ending.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
This is some very interesting
Stanley and the bucket were
storyline.
so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
Oh, it's getting interesting.
Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over.
It's a press conference again.
He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work.
This one again.
For months he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life.
It changed. 333. Oh, it changed.
This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one.
Oh, this didn't change. What if we click on this?
There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting. He was a failure.
Oh no.
And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding.
No.
The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
No. No. Our bucket.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
So. Oh, the bucket.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Oh! Trust the completionist instinct. Oh my god. Oh, look! A large room, lots of boxes. Stairs, something to do with stairs. Somewhere both red and blue. Oh, that's so cool.
Stanley, we must move on to this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Aw. Give me a sticker. No?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh, hey, this room's available now. This again. Okay. I don't think it really has anything.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Alright, let's try the off ending. The listening to the narrator ending with the bucket. With the bucket. Oh, this is I've never seen this before. It's all
Stanley
new.
and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Mind control facility.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
Hey, what about this?
Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
What about this ending?
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark
bucket
void
fall
below.
ending.
Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall.
New dialogue.
Now, what to do next, Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here.
What?
So they set up a little couch and relaxed.
What?
It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't
Oh my
until
God.
the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled.
Oh no.
Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending.
Yeah, true
This
ending.
made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's
bucket
where we
sighed.
happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Oh. Oh, we get this one blue.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The confusion and the chaos, Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers.
All right,
If
all
I'm
right.
coming to a staircase,
Now-
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs.
We're
to
gonna
the
go
boss's
see the
office.
the true ending. Well, not the true, just a
Stepping into his manager's
normal
office,
ending.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
We're seeing all the cool endings. I love it. I love the 3 press conference. No one came to listen to Stanley about 3.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
How does a bucket burst into tears?
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Ah.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle.
Alright, let's see this ending.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket
So it's basically the same game,
Stanley wanted to
but
sneeze in every country
with a
on
bucket.
Earth. Both of them wanted to
And
begin
new
watching
dialogues?
a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and
Huh?
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
No!
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket.
Throw the
Needed
bucket!
the soothing warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
What? So we're getting different endings.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, now we're gonna try that bomb ending.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Mind control facility.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered
Careful
to
now.
themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped. monitored like guinea pigs.
No.
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket
what would
under
the bomb
mind
ending
control
be?
facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No!
No.
He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
All right, here we go.
And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machine... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in
The
horror.
bucket pressed
Had
on.
this been the bucket's plan all along?
Bucket's
To
plan.
take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds.
Whoa.
The control buttons became active again.
Oh. Oh, I love it. Birds.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world.
Yes.
The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions.
Yes.
Had known this all along. Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
What is this? Birds. Yay, that's the bird ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh, they really
Stanley decided to go
put a
to
lot
the
of
meeting
effort.
room. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
Let's try the escape.
Stanley clutched the bucket
ending.
tightly to his chest and entered
Speedrun.
the door on his left.
Speedrun. Come on.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Come on, just open.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Oh, sheer
The
luck.
bucket knew all along. Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Okay. Now we try the escape route with the bucket.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
go
Although
this way.
this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Hello, Seven Jessica.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every
No,
opportunity
no.
to turn around.
I'm
and
gonna
get
see
back on
this
track.
new ending.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death. for
Very
each of
painful
them.
death. Oh. All right. What's gonna be this new ending? Woo. Oops. Alright. Maybe the bucket's gonna save me from the crushing machine. All of a sudden, the bucket was made out of vibranium and it was too strong
As
to
the
be
machine
crushed.
whirred into motion and Stanley and
And
the bucket
Stanley
inched closer to their
was
demise,
saved.
Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Okay, bucket, do something.
Farewell, Stanley,
Oh, here we
cried
go.
the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
Oh, it's the same thing. Right? But they hired her again.
It was a shame,
and did the bucket-
death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Oh my god. The bucket. Welcome to the grand exhibit. Look at this. The grand bucket.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than
Bucket with
Stanley
two
would ever
handles.
be in his short
Mind
life?
blown. This is, you know what? This is quite some modern art. Inferno bucket. The stress bucket. No. Oh, you put in stress in. Vulnerability equals size and strength of the bucket. Oh yeah, our bucket's gone. Oh. Cave drawing.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one.
What?
It is
Cave.
man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. We got it?
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die.
Oh.
Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
My bucket! What happens now? Oh. That was another ending?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed the good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling
The
adventure
good old
together.
bucket. Okay, so we saw
Stanley
everything on the
clutched
left, right?
bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door.
Oh, no,
on the
actually-
left.
We have to go downstairs. The good old bucket. Yeah, the stairs.
Stanley, we must move
I
on
love
to
this
the
room.
broom closet. Simply
broom.
because I have no remain. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Aha.
Lately, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley?
Figlies.
What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number
would say-
in the corner of your screen go up by one? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Tangerine. Tangerine sounds like a tangerine. Okay, we got 4. 2 more to go. This is
Stanley
the
just couldn't do it.
Scream ending.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself,
Maybe
I
I'm
am
crazy.
He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy?
Am I
Asked the
crazy,
bucket.
bucket?
The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all.
Said nothing at all.
That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its
hold
familiar
it close.
reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal...
This isn't my
everyday
bucket.
Someone else's bucket, perhaps.
Mind
How
blown.
did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong.
Where's
Surely
my
no
bucket?
good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket.
Mind blown.
Indeed. Now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, gracious.
Oh, gracious.
Exclaimed.
Oh,
Without
goodness
my bucket,
gracious.
I've gone truly mad.
Oh,
where is it?
my
I
bucket's
must
gone.
Find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from.
Where?
The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Oh no, it's inside our stomach. I love that part where it's
This
like,
is the story. of a
Stanley,
woman named
come
Mariella.
find me.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her
They
walk was
reused the
interrupted by
scene.
the body
Just
of
put a
man
bucket on her
who
hand.
had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can
Oh,
be,
how
Mariella
cruel.
thought. And she hugged her own bucket even tighter.
Even tighter.
But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself. My life kicks ass. And she backflipped
My
all the
life
way to
kicks
work.
ass. She backflipped. I love this. This is total comedy show. What is this now?
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Wait, what happens if we still go left? When we, like, you know, finish all that? For example... wait. What's somewhere both red and blue, and what's large room with a lot of boxes? Do I remember? Large room with a lot of boxes? Somewhere both red and blue?
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs.
What if we
to
do
the
this
boss's
again? Go
office.
down.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered
Is
the
it gonna be the
possibility
same
of facing
ending?
his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
I think this is gonna be the same thing.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps a good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Oh. Okay.
Truly, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Maybe I think something happens if we stay long enough here. Wait, what's this? Have we ever been here before?
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Whoa. Whoa. Huh? Huh? Where am I? Huh? There's many tapes here.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing.
Evidence
can
252?
feel anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything
This feels weird.
feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it.
Huh?
It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket.
Huh?
This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back.
What?
Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there? Camporata.
Whoa! I missed a
Already
collectible.
this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in,
Alright.
the embrace of an old friend.
So,
a weathered companionship that
go
stands
right.
the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly.
What
to
about
his-
the
This
employee
was not
room?
the correct way to the meeting room.
I'll be
But
okay.
Stanley had felt the bucket
Too
calling
lazy
to him,
to stay
telling
there.
him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Oh, I see one. Okay.
You're getting close now, Stanley.
Okay, one more.
You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anmarines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one. And then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anmarines. None of us can.
Where's the red and blue room? Hello, thank you for the follow. Yay.
But
Oh.
Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend.
No.
So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms.
They might die. Another
How
one.
deeply touching.
How deeply touching. Okay.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Huh. Huh.
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man.
Red and blue
a
room?
better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Red and blue room?
Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room?
Let's stay here for a while.
Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
Do we get anything if we stay long here?
Perhaps this was where the bucket felt most truly at home. Here in the employee lounge.
Employee
Perhaps it's
lounge.
the only place a bucket can even feel at home.
Bucket, do you feel home here? Yes, I feel home. Ah, that's good.
Stanley decided to just give the bucket absolutely as much time as it needed to be in the lounge. Clearly, the bucket and the employee lounge shared a special connection.
Stanley, I feel home here. Stanley, I want to take a nap. No, seriously, but is there anything? Like a special achievement or like an ending if we stay here? Maybe not. I'll wait 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Maybe not. One last call, bucket. Bye-bye. Okay.
But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first
wait,
open
hold on,
door
so-
on their left to get back to business.
Now.
no.
Said the bucket.
Now.
Don't go to
now.
the meeting room.
I wanna go
somewhere
here.
else. The cargo lift, yes. Go. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because
Hey,
buckets
do you think we
are-
can jump down?
But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact.
Like jump
He
down
was
and go
firmly
there?
convinced that the bucket had spoken to
Oh,
him,
let's try that
and
later.
He unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Now. I love this voice. Now.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
In here.
Now pick up the phone,
said the bucket.
pick up...
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Oh. Huh. What do you mean? The bucket's real. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press G to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
No.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think.
No.
It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's
No.
it doesn't do
It's a
anything
friend.
else.
Don't listen to the loud man. Press B for us to go back home.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is this awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Press B to ignore anyone in your life except for me.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket.
Yeah, it's
Well,
quite
I'll give it
shiny now.
this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press X to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquids. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Press F to relive the same day with me over and over.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Press J to go home, to work home, to work home.
Oh no.
Oh.
I'm having feelings for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
Narrator wants the bucket. Oh, whoa, wee wah, bucket. This is some romantic situation. Bucket and I.
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
The narrator wanted the bucket. Go back to work, Stanley. Oh, the bucket's telling me stuff. Oh, that was cool. I loved it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky.
Very lucky indeed.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his...
Or now
This
let's
was
try
not
to
the
jump
correct
over.
way to the meeting room.
You know?
Stanley had felt the bucket
At
calling
the-
to him, telling
the
him
place.
that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting
I love
room.
this
Go
voice.
somewhere else.
Now,
The
now,
cargo lift, yes.
now.
Go there. Good.
Said the bucket.
Yeah,
Now
okay.
ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets
Also,
can't talk.
hey,
But
wait,
Stanley
we
chose
cannot
not
answer
to
the
think about
phone.
this obvious
Let's
fact.
try that.
He was
There's so
firmly
much to
convinced that the
do.
bucket
There's so
had
much to
spoken
do.
him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
No. No. So funny. Okay.
In here.
Said the bucket.
In here.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
So there's a phone here, right? Don't answer this.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
No. I won't listen to you. Bucket, I am in control, not you. What if we like...
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug
works.
the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk.
It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket.
Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What?
What is comedic timing?
What?
What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny."
I'm Dunny with the funny.
I'm Dunny with the funny now.
I'm Dunny with the funny now.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, with each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence, and to very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
I'm Dunny with the funny. I learned a new skill, guys. I learned a new skill. It's called I'm Dunny with the funny. Where do I go?
I can feel it. This
Hey.
time, I'm really going to nail the delivery.
You can't
There'll be
jump
no
out.
Stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious
I wanna go here.
concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
I love this.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. I'm Dunny with the funny.
Where do I go now? How back do you want me to go? Oh. All the way back?
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Whoa.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the 2 doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think
Oh no.
I need to go back and rewatch that
No,
instructional
no.
video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2
Jeez,
open
what
doors,
are-
they entered the door on the left.
No.
What? We're back at the phone already?
Oh,
No,
it's
no.
it's the same thing? Huh?
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Let's try it again.
What? We're back at the phone already? No.
Oh, okay.
Here
I
we
can't
go.
do anything. I
You
have to go
ready?
left now.
When Stanley and the bucket came
Okay.
to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Okay.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this was all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Okay. Whoa.
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes.
Huh?
Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket
This
you
is not
are.
the end, right?
No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes.
And where's my
More
sticker?
instructional
My bucket,
videos.
yellow
And
bucket
that's
sticker is
right.
gone.
That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
Ah. Ah, this is not an ending. I mean, it is an ending, but
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward.
now I'm
Stanley
gonna
clutched the
jump
bucket tightly to
at
his
that
chest. This
moving
was not the
platform.
correct way to the
There's so
meeting
much to do on
Stanley
each
had felt the
path.
bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No.
Okay, hold on, hold
Mind.
on. I know there's something to do on the left side, but I want
Stanley
to
took the
find
door on
out
his
what
left
happens
to
when
go
you
back to the meeting
jump
room.
out here. No.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes.
Now.
Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top.
I wanna go
There's
here.
something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question
I
why
love
or
that
how
voice.
this
That's
bucket
so
was speaking
funny.
to him. It should have alarmed
Now.
him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him,
Here we
and
go.
he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Now. Go in that room.
Danger everywhere. Nice. Ooh.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket.
We're going philosophical.
Please, step
Whoa.
in here for a moment.
So you saw code? Cargo. What code? Oh my god. We're watching another. Oh my god, it's a whole movie.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
Alright, let's go.
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Mm-hmm.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
This is hard.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
Okay, that's not a bucket, it's a hologram.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Yay!
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
No, that's a Lego.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Mind blown.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Now that's a bucket.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket?
That's a bucket, come on.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Now that's comedic timing.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
How long
Item-
is this?
Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something? Unless, in your
that's hard.
twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Yes. Oh,
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
yes.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart.
Am I a
can't
bucket?
have that. I'm sorry, but I'm going to erase
I am a
all
bucket.
buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go. What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets.
We're not buckets.
Yes, I
buckets.
actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
What's gonna happen? Where's my
All of
bucket?
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Where's my bucket?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Ah.
Perhaps Stanley cradled the bucket.
Alright, let's
in
go
a
see
gentle
the
embrace, protective,
code Victoria said.
assertive.
So you said there's something
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his...
Over
this
here.
was not the correct way to the meeting room. But
Is this a
Stanley
game
had
about a
felt the
bucket?
bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was
It's hard to
simply the
explain.
place to be.
It's a
And
game
here
about
it
life
was. Had the
decisions.
bucket turned out to
But
be
this
correct?
game got a
No,
sequel, I
never
guess?
mind. The bucket was wrong.
This game is all
Stanley
about
put the door on
comedy.
his left
That's
to go
why
back
it's
to the
using a
meeting
bucket as a sequel item.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes.
No.
Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
That
Good,
one?
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious
No.
fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I don't think there's anything here, Victoria. Or the other door? How about this door?
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to
Oh,
put a
okay.
bucket here?
Alright. Next, we gotta go to the elevator on the
All
right
of his
door.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked,
All these computer
he
says,
couldn't
"End is
find a
never the
trace
end."
of his co-workers.
Okay, I turned off all the computers. Anything happening?
Stanley's bucket.
Stanley's
the only co-worker
bucket.
he would ever truly need. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind.
Okay, so
The bucket was
we saw
wrong.
everything in that room.
Stanley took the door.
I'm gonna
on
miss
his
that
left
voice.
to go back to the
No.
meeting room. And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
So this is one way. I don't think this will do anything. Yeah. Yeah, this is just like a way to go back. Oh,
Is Stanley, without the bucket, really Stanley at all? Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
who did the voice?
Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
No.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section
Right.
and walked straight ahead.
Elevator
to the
time.
opposite door.
Let's go down.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place
Oh.
eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too
The
much
fern.
time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
I want to be in here. Okay.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Whee! Where's the last figurine?
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the
Whoa.
original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
What?
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Whoa!
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
This is
Can
our
you guess
bucket
what the
destroyer.
Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say
No.
goodbye to the bucket.
No.
And then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
I can't. We're gonna run away.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters?
No.
Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly
It's going
not.
crazy.
I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this.
Bucket
Okay,
Destroyer
the
merchandise.
Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Oh. The Bucket Destroyer.
The Bucket Destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend.
What?
For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
What happens if I put in the bucket and destroy the bucket? Ah, now we're gonna have to see what happens. Okay. So many
Stanley
decisions
decided
to make.
Go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself. As Stanley lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to all buckets everywhere. This adventure, he decided, was for all of them. Stanley
This
clapped the
time,
bucket
we're gonna put
tightly
in
to
the
his
bucket.
chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling
Now
to
Raddy
him,
will be
telling him
confused.
that the
This game is
employee
about a
lounge
bucket.
was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
We care about you,
You
Stanley.
see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're
I don't have
the
time.
ones
Go,
that
go, go.
matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
Bucket.
Yes, I know I'm the one who
Bucket?
gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's... Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Alright, take two. This time, we're gonna break the bucket.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character.
Here we go.
This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Don't you agree?
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to
Okay.
spell it out for you.
Bye-bye, bucket.
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
I can't.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows.
I can't.
That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only
I
one
can't.
personality trait deserve...
Okay, I guess there's nothing happening. Well, one last figurine.
Just a step
Somewhere
through this
where
door,
with
Stanley
red and
thought to
blue.
himself, that's all I need.
Where
If
is
I
it?
can make it through this door, what new mysteries lay in store for our bucket-loving heroes today? Let's find out.
I guess it's like the
Stanley
camera
clutched
room.
the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Alright. Red and blue. Like the camera room.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket
I mean
walked upstairs to the boss's
the
office.
buttons room, the multiple buttons room.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
It might be the buttons room, because that's where we have like blue and red and other stuff too.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
When we press... Actually,
The
if we
lights
press
rose
on,
an enormous
it
room
shows
packed with television
bird
screens.
photos, not
What
the
horrible
buttons.
secret did this place hold? Stanley and the
How
bucket
do we do
both
it?
wondered to themselves.
Remember?
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
Oh,
Everyone in the office was being videotaped.
some are both red and
monitored
blue.
like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it
Big
gently,
spider climbing my wall.
reassuring it
Whoa.
that everything would be fine.
Give it the bucket. Give it a bonk. Bucket bonk.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept
Okay,
it.
where's the red
His
and
own
blue?
life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter.
Stanley.
His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Oh, colored doors room? Oh, wait.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking,
Do you think we can
eating,
open
working,
this?
all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery
Big as a
would
quarter.
never again exert its terrible power
Oh my
over another
God.
human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Wait. I want to find out something.
1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct?
Huh?
Excellent! Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
We ordered boxes. So if we don't take the bucket,
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
hold on. So I'm trying to figure out how to okay.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
We have to go to
Perhaps
that
he wanted to stop by the
catwalk.
employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
we have to go here.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
From here. This way? I don't see anything. Wait, no, that's oh, no, not here, not here, not here. Cargo up. Jump on catwalk. Bucket. No, oh. Shit. Ah! I should not have jumped here. Well, we can see this again. Is
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Okay. I know I had to do
Already
this.
this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he
So
felt
don't get
safe
the
in,
bucket.
that he would never
Go
leave it again in
to
his life.
the okay, like jump off the cargo thing.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was
From
okay.
here. Go
But
straight.
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
My hair's getting really long these days.
Stanley was
I
so
might
bad at
do a
following
perm.
directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
There we go.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten
We're
off
gonna
on
go
the
there.
wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why,
Alright,
I don't know
from
how to
here-
convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
So I don't have the bucket. From here. Oh, no buckets past this point, but now since we don't have a bucket, we can go in. Oh, that's cool.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. And there it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it.
We got it.
Where so many people
6 out of
expect
6.
to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Okay, well, anyways. From here, there's two. There's the. We can go to space, or we can go to baby game. Play for 4 hours, it becomes art. Oh my god. So, there's one ending you can get. You get that baby game thing. You play for 4 hours, you get this art ending. Oh my god. Okay, well let's go to red. No. So if I go blue, I get the baby game. Let's try the blue.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Oh, this is
You
it.
see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for... Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest.
Yes.
I'm looking for some real critical feedback.
Yes.
Here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul.
Oh.
You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Oh. Leaderboard. Is this actually real? Maybe not. Oh.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers,
No.
please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So
4
why don't
hours.
you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective. Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Oh my god, that's loud.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter,
No,
I don't know what to
baby.
do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Oh,
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley?
this is Firewatch, one of my first games on YouTube.
Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creature.
This is so nostalgic. I played this back in
Perhaps
2016.
for some sort of twisted erotic purpose.
I feel so weird to be back at
Yes,
it.
that must be it. What a fascinating
I
adventure
translated
into the
everything into
experience of
Korean
total
for the
mental
Korean
depravity.
viewers.
So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley.
I
And it
remember
seems as
gaining
if
like
you
37
Come,
subscribers
let's
from
venture outward
from
and see
uploading
what else
this
is out there.
whole Firewatch series. This feels so nostalgic for me right now. It's one of my first games on my YouTube journey. I used to speak Korean.
No, it can't be.
Oh
It
my
is.
god.
It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What
It's
a
on
close
YouTube, yeah.
call. You nearly wandered off into
If
that,
you set it on
that
the oldest video,
thing,
it's gonna be like on second
just
or third.
wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any. Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls.
Another game.
Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
What game?
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Rocket League.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Yay. Oh, it works. Woohoo!
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought.
I'm having
And
fun.
I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes. Oh,
Yes.
goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls.
More balls. Oh my. Oh my. Are we supposed to like...
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun? Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over.
No!
Your little
My
fun
balls
comes to
are
me.
gone.
This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley.
My balls.
Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I am structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows? You're an inventive kid. You'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best.
This looks like a...
Take care, Stanley.
like a chip. Silicon chip. Hello? Do I restart? Hello? Maybe we can fall down in the goal. Oh yeah.
Hold on. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley.
Oh! Whoa! This is new to me. Kind of creepy. Would you look at this? No sound. No nothing. We're back at 427. Oh, hey, this might be the version where they had for Half-Life mod, like a map version, before it was made into the game, like a standalone game. Oh.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Hmm? Are we supposed to restart the game? Oh, no. Okay, so, hey. We got all the figurines. Oh!
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically
We got the final ending
moment
here.
of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. Alright, Minzo, have a good sleep today. And hello, Amber. The memory zone. Oh.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
It says 7 out of 6. Oh, you missed it.
And here was a second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom. You did that, Stanley.
Yay.
I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Oh.
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
How? I think I found this one second, this one's third. I hope I'm right.
No. Under the stairs was the 4th place you found a Stanley, not the 3rd. Well, I guess perhaps I shouldn't be surprised.
That's so
Memories like
hard.
these are so precious and so cherished that they all just sort of blend together, don't they? You know what? If under the stairs feels like the 3rd place you found a collectible, then who am I to go making judgments?
Hello? What do I... Ah.
Let's see. What came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room.
Eh?
Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember
No.
being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
No. This is totally new.
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was
Whoa.
really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion.
What?
Enjoy.
This is some Windows Movie Maker. This is amazing. Windows Movie Maker type game. I mean, type of video. My very first videos, like drawing Pokemon, was done by using Windows Movie Maker back in 2012, and then I moved to Sony Vegas.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
It brings me back memories too.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Oh. Oh, hey, look. The past. You are in the present. The scene I am looking at is on the TV.
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Goodbye, Memory Zone.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction.
What?
See how that feels. Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going, I want more. And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
What?
Yes, I love that video.
Oh, it's so funny.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Good room. A solid room.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Next one. So this is the true ending, I guess. True ending. Boss's office? Oh, it's blocked. To the toilet?
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the Figlarines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Wait, we're going backwards in time? Collectibles. Oh, the jumping.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
More memories. Okay. Let's keep on going. This must be our final moment.
Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with.
This is the narrator's perspective.
Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good.
Oh.
I did enjoy telling
It's a
this
true
story
ending.
so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Our last run?
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Huh? Wait.
Now this, Stanley thought to himself, this is a bucket.
I think that was a figurine ending. We can see the epilogue ending. Restart at least 5 times. Collect all 6 figurines. Unlock the bucket. Okay. Let's try it. Whoa.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Finally, yes.
4, 5.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer. Finally, yes.
Okay.
The bucket. Yes, yes, yes. I love that bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Oh, we gotta launch. Quit to menu. Hold on. Let's see. Begin the game. No. Hold on. So maybe this is the epilogue? Oh, again. Why does it keep asking for the current time? Hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you've booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12:00 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the time you're setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the scene, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want. Even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Wow, there's so many like interesting things.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Okay. Hold on. So we can do like the favorite time? I'll do like 7 p.m. 7 p.m. your favorite time of day. Or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 7 p.m. is. Let's use another slider to find out. How accurate is 7 p.m.? It's kind of like this. I mean, it's 4 p.m. right now. You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip a couple new ones up. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. Oh my god! Okay, let's see. Alright. New sliders. Please adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. Okay. Please adjust the slider until the dog and cats are friends. Please adjust the slider until the number 5 becomes the number 9. There we go. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. Which of the two made up words below is most appealing to you? Akibonical. Scrumptious. Scrumptious. Please don't adjust the slider. Okay. Do you know what time it is right now? Yes. Is the time that it is right now the correct time? Yes. Huh? What time is it anyway? Yes. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? Yes. Help? Yes. Will you come back to visit me? Yes. Hey, this feels again like one shot, you know, like the game itself being sentient. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, let's boot up again. Okay, this is the 5th run. Let's see what happens. What time is it? Does anyone really truly know? Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. You and I don't even know each other. We're like strangers. Sure, I've adjusted all of the game settings to your exact specifications, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. And now the job is over. There's no more information for me to gather. I've collected all the data on you that I can, and I still don't really know you. And you don't know me. and neither of us know what time it is. I guess some settings are just unsettable. But if I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in the game anyway. You don't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. Video games were meant to be played alone. You like being alone, don't you? That's maybe the only information I really learned about you. Well, it's time for me to leave. There is still one more setting that we need to adjust, but it may take a little time before I'm ready for that. It's not really in my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again if you find me. Talk soon. Wait. Epilogue! Okay. This is the final thing of this game, I guess. Many, many years later, hey, it's the skip button thing. We made a fire. How did you make a fire? Okay, we're surviving. This is when the skip button happened and the narrator died. Stanley is immortal. These chairs. So many chairs. Look at that moon. Hey, this is the memory zone building. Stanley Parable 2. Cookie Nine's blog. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with the sequel. Blah blah blah. But I must say, I found the bucket to be quite comforting. Cat dog born. What's this? Oh, it's a gym button.
Gym.
Stanley Parable developers. No more spin-offs, no more sequels. Oh.
Gym.
Wait. It's this way? Oh. So many figurines. $26. Thank you for enjoying the new content. Aww. Oh, is this it? Hello again. It's nice to see you. But it's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise? What nonsense. The Stanley Parable is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard, in fact. Let me show you. Together we are going to make Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change the number in the game's title screen. We also need a really dumb subtitle for the game, something loud and gaudy. Go ahead, try combining some random words together to make a new title for our game. Cheese. Oh. Stanley's Tiny Cheese. Confirm. The Stanley Parable 3, Stanley's Tiny Cheese. It's absurd, I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1, and then we'll pick a new subtitle. That way, the Stanley Parable will never end. And nothing in the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. It's just the same content recycled again and again and again and again with a new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it, but I want you to have a say as well. Let's do it. Good. Then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you've put faith in my idea, I feel like giving you something as well. You see, I'm noticing that the narrator never found a way to give you the broken achievement, did he? Oh, of course not. I wouldn't expect him to know how. It's been bothering me. Let's fix it. Alright, there. The achievement machine is all fixed. You see? I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. The Stanley Parable cannot end. It can only spiral it on itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I am ready. Are you ready? Great. There's only one last thing we need to do. Please enter the current time. Oh, that feels weird. It feels like we're seeing an end on like a old drama or something. You are playing Stanley Parable 3, Stanley's Tiny Cheese.
This is the...
It's the same thing, right? Yeah, it's the same game. Alright, well there we go. That's Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition.